Hello there, and welcome to Sleep Science 360. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Maybe the world felt heavy today, or maybe you just needed a quiet voice to guide you into a softer place, somewhere your thoughts can drift without pressure, without effort, without noise. So let yourself settle. Let your breath fall into that slower rhythm your body's been waiting for all day. Feel the weight of the bed holding you, steady and warm, because tonight's story is gentler than the stars and closer than the galaxies. Tonight, we're returning to the planet that learned to glow from the inside Earth and the long, quiet tale of life that has unfolded here for billions of years. Life that began almost invisibly in tiny shimmering molecules floating through warm ancient seas. Life that grew, changed, waited, and eventually shaped everything you've ever known, from forests breathing in the morning light to the heartbeat resting inside your chest. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And as the night deepens, the story of Earth's living memory begins to open. The night settles around you, warm, still, and patient. Your breath finds its place again. The world outside loosens its hold, and the story we followed drifts into something older than memory. You can rest now. We begin with a simple truth. Earth was not always a home, not always a cradle for forests and rivers, not always a place where air shimmered with birds and wind and breath. In its earliest days, about 4.5 billion years ago, the young planet glowed from heat and fire, wrapped in storms of rock and steam. Nothing gentle lived here yet, not even the idea of life. But time is a patient sculptor, and Earth slowly learned softness. As the surface cooled, a thin crust formed, fragile and trembling, like the first skin of a world that wasn't done becoming itself. Volcanoes opened and closed, meteors left glowing trails across the darkening sky. And somewhere in that ancient turbulence, water began to gather. At first it was steam, then endless rain, then oceans wide, deep, and dark as a new heartbeat. The earliest oceans covered much of the planet, heated by the mantle beneath, stirred by tides pulled by a moon newly formed. Every wave carried minerals, salts, metals, and drifting molecules waiting for meaning. We drift with them now. Imagery rises like soft mist over warm water. Picture a world where the sea is the only sky, where lightning flickers across endless waves, where the air tastes of salt and stone, where silence holds the promise of everything that will one day breathe. In this deep, patient water, something miraculous began. Something that did not know it was the beginning of a story that would continue all the way to you. You can rest now. Biologists call these early forms protocells, tiny droplets of molecules protected by thin membranes. They floated in warm, mineral-rich pools, roughly 3.8 billion years ago, older than the oldest rocks, still standing at Earth's surface. They didn't think, they didn't see, but they reacted. They changed, they held energy, they copied themselves. A micro fact drifts into place. The earliest known fossils, stromatolites, show that microbial mats were already forming 3.5 billion years ago, building layered structures from sunlight and minerals. They were small, yet patient, and their patience reshaped the world. We traveled gently with them, floating through time with no need for urgency, because the Earth of that age moved slowly, oceans drifting, continents gathering heat, skies filled with volcanic haze. And yet, through all of it, life was learning how to survive. Imagine sunlight touching shallow water for the first time in a way that mattered, not as warmth, not as brightness, but as energy that tiny cells learned how to capture. Photosynthesis began its slow, quiet work more than 3 billion years ago. And when it did, Earth started to glow from the inside. The air slowly filled with oxygen. The seas brightened. The sky changed color. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. We follow the light as it settles across the oceans. Blue-green algae drift like soft dust in the water, releasing oxygen with every moment. Not for purpose, but simply because that was their way of being. And this slow release changed everything. Oxygen rose from nearly 0 to almost 1% of the atmosphere. Then, around 2.4 billion years ago, it surged in what scientists call the Great Oxygenation Event. It sounds dramatic, but really, it was just countless tiny lives breathing in rhythm. You can rest now. The ocean shifted from greenish haze to clearer blue. Iron dissolved in water rusted out and fell to the seafloor, forming vast layers of stone that still remain today. And with this new air, new chemistry began. Life could grow in ways it never had before. We glide forward through millions of years, slow, drifting, effortless. The planet changes like a dream, turning warmer at the edges. Organisms begin to cooperate. Cells merge into more complex structures. Tiny mitochondria, once free bacteria, become the energy centers inside every complex cell in your body. A microfact. Mitochondria carry their own DNA, a memory of their ancient independence, a whisper of the world before animals existed. Picture them glowing faintly, like lanterns inside cells. Small, warm, relentless. Imagery flows with the thought. The first multicellular organisms appear around 1.6 billion years ago. They do not move fast. They do not dream, but they share energy. They divide tasks. They become communities of cells, working together, the first faint outline of what will someday be forests, coral reefs, and living bodies resting beneath blankets in quiet rooms. We drift into the Ediacaran seas around 600 million years ago, where soft-bodied creatures glide across the ocean floor. They look like ferns, discs, quilts of living tissue shaped by gentle currents. No bones, no shells, just fluid forms drifting under dim, ancient light. Imagine a sea without predators. A world where nothing hunts, nothing flees, nothing hides. Only slow movement, soft shapes, and the low hum of Earth learning complexity. Then something shifts again. A spark, not of fire, but of motion. Around 540 million years ago, the Cambrian seas bloom with new life creatures with eyes, shells, legs, fins. The world learns how to move with intention. The world learns to see. This moment, the Cambrian explosion, unfolded for about 25 million years, a long breath in geological time. And yet, it transformed the planet. We drift through coral-like arches and swirling sediments. Creatures the size of your hand swim past, their translucent bodies catching soft blue light. Trilobites crawl across sandy plains like ancient messengers shaped from stone and memory. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Life spreads into every corner of the ocean. Then, Slowly, onto land, plants appear, first quiet pioneers around 470 million years ago, forming the earliest forests. Tiny spores drift through the air, like whispering seeds of possibility. Gradually, the land turns green. Shadows form beneath leaves, moist air gathers in valleys, and the planet begins to breathe more deeply than ever. You can rest now. Amphibians step onto warm shorelines about 360 million years ago. Their footprints press into wet sand where waves rise and fall. The planet gathers music, the sound of wind through plants, the rustle of early forests, the soft thud of creatures learning to walk. Reptiles arrive, then mammals, then, slowly, shapes that begin to resemble the life you recognize. Eyes that reflect light like yours. Lungs that rise and fall with breath. Warm bodies searching for warmth in others. Imagery settles like dusk over a quiet lake. We drift forward into the Cenozoic era, the last 66 million years, where the world grows familiar. Grasslands spread, forests deepen, rivers carve their paths, and early primates move through branches with careful, curious motions. The continents slide slowly into their current positions, about 2-5 centimeters each year, the speed at which fingernails grow, a planet rearranging itself with gentle persistence. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And finally, humans emerge, not suddenly, not dramatically, but through countless tiny changes, like light slowly filling a quiet room. Every heartbeat you feel now echoes billions of years of life, learning how to persist, how to adapt, how to glow. Earth became home not through force, but through patience, through slow rhythms, through cooperation between tiny cells that never knew they were building something extraordinary. You can rest now, and as you sink deeper into this story, remember this. Your body carries the entire timeline of Earth. The iron in your blood was forged in ancient seas. The oxygen you breathe was shaped by algae older than mountains. The warmth in your chest flows through pathways refined for billions of years. You are part of Earth's long, quiet glow, a chapter written by light and water and time. And somewhere, light continues to travel. We drift further now, carried by the same quiet current that has moved through Earth for billions of years. The story grows broader, but softer too. As if life itself were speaking through the night. Everything becomes slower here. Everything becomes patient. It's okay to drift. Life on Earth learned persistence long before it learned beauty. It learned how to survive heat, darkness, ice, storms, and silence. And this slow intelligence shaped every creature that would ever exist. Even the smallest cell carries choices older than mountains. Picture the early Earth turning beneath ancient sunlight, land masses drifting, volcanoes breathing, oceans shimmering with microscopic life, so small that trillions could dance inside a single cup of water. Imagery glows like a dim ripple across a lake at dawn. A microfact moves gently into place. A single gram of fertile soil contains more than 1 billion microorganisms and over 6,000 unique species of bacteria quietly working. This invisible world is older than forests and more complex than cities. Life does not rush. It adapts, layer by layer, like a painter returning to the same canvas for millions of years. It's okay to drift. We glide through the ocean now, weightless in thought, wrapped in a world where creation begins softly. Sunlight cuts long golden lines through the water. Plankton drift in slow motion, glowing faintly as they move, and each one holds a tiny memory of the first cells Earth ever grew. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The ocean has always been Earth's first library. Every wave holds genetic pages written in proteins, minerals, and sunlight. Somewhere, deep below the surface, hydrothermal vents rise like faint chimneys, releasing warm currents rich in chemicals. Scientists believe such vents may have sparked early life by creating natural energy gradients where simple molecules learn to organize. A microfact whispers through the current. The hottest hydrothermal vents on Earth can reach 400 degrees Celsius. Yet life not only survives there, it thrives. This resilience is Earth's quiet signature. We rise toward the surface again. Above us, light scatters into gentle blues and greens. Fish glide in slow arcs. Jelly-like creatures pulse with a rhythm older than timekeeping. The water around us thickens with drifting particles, shaped by life's patience. It's okay to drift. Evolution is often imagined as dramatic, but in truth, it moves like wind over stone, soft, persistent, reshaping everything a grain at a time. For billions of years, Earth remained a planet of small creatures. Microbes, algae, tiny drifting forms that turn sunlight into energy and oxygen into life. We imagine them shimmering in endless currents, each one performing a quiet task that kept the planet alive. Life's intelligence grew not through speed, but through repetition, through cycles, followed faithfully across seasons, tides, and centuries. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Somewhere on land, moss spreads across damp stone, its tiny leaves absorbing the morning light. This moss descends from some of the earliest plants pioneers that began turning rock into soil more than 470 million years ago. Before trees, before insects, before the earth had green lungs. Slowly, plants transformed the continents. The first forests appeared around 385 million years ago, filled with towering ferns and primitive trees with bark like sculpted stone. They breathed in carbon dioxide, breathed out oxygen, and stabilized the atmosphere in ways delicate yet powerful. It's okay to drift. Forests have always been slow thinkers. They build community through roots and fungi, sharing nutrients, signals, and warnings across vast underground networks. A microfact settles gently. Mycorrhizal fungi connect trees across forests through vast root networks, sometimes called the wood wide web. These threads can stretch for miles, carrying chemical messages that help the forest stay alive. Life on Earth cooperates more than it competes. Most species survive not as individuals, but as interconnected systems. Symbiosis, mutualism, coevolution. Each one a soft agreement whispered through time. Under a canopy of ancient trees, we follow the quiet choreography of life moving through light and air. Insects hum along the edges of warmth. Birds drift from branch to branch with deliberate gentleness. Leaves absorb the glow of afternoon sun, turning photons into food with a precision refined over 3 billion years. It's okay to drift. As we move deeper into Earth's timeline, animals begin to emerge in more recognizable forms. Bodies shaped by water, gravity, and necessity. Limbs forming from fins. Lungs rising from ancient air bubbles. Eyes evolving from light-sensitive proteins. Another microfact arrives. Eyes evolved at least 50 separate times in Earth's history, each instance starting from a simple patch of light-sensitive skin. Life learns by repeating what works. Slowly, beautifully, we drift across warm prehistoric plains. The ground shimmers with heat. Tall grasses sway in waves shaped by wind older than cities. Large mammals move with unhurried confidence, their bodies shaped by millions of years of adaptation. Yet life remains patient. Even predators rest more than they hunt. Even storms pause between breaths. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. We follow the slow movements of time through changing climates. Ice ages arrive and recede, their cycles paced by shifts in Earth's orbit every 100,000 years. Forests migrate south, then north again. Oceans lower and rise. Animal populations shift like moving shadows. Life adapts, always, quietly. It's okay to drift. We glide now through a world that begins to resemble our own. Grasslands open beneath wide blue skies. Rivers carve smooth paths through valleys. Trees shed leaves in autumn, their patterns synchronized with sunlight's rhythm. Birds gather in murmuration spirals that move like living galaxies across evening air. A microfact touches down lightly. Many bird species navigate migration using Earth's magnetic field, sensing it through microscopic crystals of magnetite in their tissues. Life listens to the planet in ways we are just beginning to understand. We drift above savannas lit by low sunlight. Early hominins walk through tall grass, their shadows long and soft. Their footsteps echo patterns older than language. They pick up stones, learn to shape them, share food, raise young, and follow stars without knowing they are following light that traveled for years to reach them. It's okay to drift. We glide through the last 2 million years like a quiet dream. Fire glows in early shelters. Hands leave ochre outlines on cave walls. Stories pass between generations in whispers shaped by breath, long before writing existed. Every culture grows from Earth's slow patience. Humans rise not through sudden brilliance, but through cooperation, curiosity, and memory. Life on Earth has always favored the gentle. Species that endure are those that adapt, share, and listen. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. We see early human ancestors traveling across continents shaped by ice and open plains. They carry knowledge that cannot be traced in fossils, but is written in the pathways of our own brains. How to read seasons, how to follow rivers, how to find food in unfamiliar landscapes, how to keep each other safe. Life continues learning. Life continues glowing. A microfact arrives softly. All humans alive today share a common maternal ancestor from roughly 150,000, 200,000 years ago, known as mitochondrial Eve. She was not the first human, nor the only one alive at her time. She is simply the individual whose mitochondrial lineage survived uninterrupted to this moment. In every cell that carries her legacy, a tiny spiral of DNA remembers her life on Earth. It's okay to drift. The story expands now beyond species, beyond humans, into the quiet truth that all life on Earth shares the same fundamental code, the same genetic alphabet, the same chemistry of survival. Every leaf, every whale, every microscopic cell drifting through a drop of rain, all connected, all shaped by the same patient processes, all part of the same slow intelligence that began billions of years ago. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. As we rest inside this long, gentle timeline, the night grows quieter. Thoughts drift like small birds settling onto branches. The story of life becomes a soft hum beneath awareness, a rhythm older than language, and somewhere beneath everything, Earth continues to glow. It begins quietly now. The night deepens around the edges, and the world of life continues to unfold, not through motion anymore, but through sound. Life on Earth has always been a symphony, long before humans learned to recognize music. The planet carries vibrations millions of years old, echoes drifting across oceans, forests, and skies. It's okay to drift. If you listen closely, you can sense a low hum beneath everything. Not a noise your ears detect, but something older. A resonance that moves through water, stone, and bone. Scientists call it microseismic murmur, a constant trembling caused by waves striking distant shores every moment of every day. This hum is one of Earth's oldest songs. Life grew up inside this quiet vibration, cells dividing in rhythm with tides and waves, forests swaying to winds shaped by mountains over millions of years. You are wrapped inside that same rhythm now. It's okay to drift. Imagine early Earth at dawn, somewhere 500 million years ago, when the first forest began to rise. Wind moved through primitive leaves, announcing the presence of a living world with soft rustles carried across valleys. That sound, that breath of land, became the backdrop of life for every creature that would follow. A microfact settles quietly. Sound travels about 4 times faster in water than in air, which is why oceans feel full of voices even when nothing seems to move. We drift beneath the surface again, following those old vibrations into warm, prehistoric seas. Whale song has not yet arrived in this timeline, nor the clicks of dolphins, nor the chatter of crabs sifting through sand. But something else has: the faint crackle of volcano-heated water, the low pulsations of tides, and the almost silent flick of early fins. It's okay to drift. As life expanded, so did its ways of speaking. Some creatures evolved bones that could vibrate to sound. Others communicated through chemical signals carried by wind and water. A few discovered electrical pulses, a new language in the quiet dark. Electric fish appeared around 100 million years ago, sending out soft current waves to sense their environment. Not sight, not sound, but a glow of awareness. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. On land, insects began creating some of the earliest recognizable songs. Cicadas evolved the ability to vibrate thin membranes attached to hollow chambers in their bodies, creating sounds that could travel across entire forests. Long before birds found their voices, insects filled the air with gentle pulses that marked the passing of seasons. At night, the world sang differently. Cooler temperatures carried sound farther. Winds slowed, trees stiffened, footsteps softened into moss and soil. Life learned how to hear the quiet. It's okay to drift. Imagine a warm night in the Carboniferous period about 300 million years ago. Forests towered nearly 30 meters high, thick with ferns, giant horsetails, and early conifer relatives. The air carried a low, constant rustling as insects drifted through prehistoric leaves, and amphibians moved carefully across damp ground. Nothing hurried, nothing shouted. Nature's voice was patient, We move forward along this path of sound. Birdsong emerges much later, shaped from simple calls into layered melodies. The earliest known bird, Archaeopteryx, lived around 150 million years ago. But true complex song developed in later lineages as vocal organs expanded and diversified. Birds learned to imitate, to create patterns, to carve music into the wind. It's okay to drift. In the oceans, a new voice appears deep and resonant. Whales begin to sing. Their calls can travel hundreds of kilometers, sliding through layers of water like warm echoes of memory. These songs are not random. They contain structure-opening motifs, repeating themes, rising sequences, a pattern of life stretching through depth and time. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The earth hums beneath all this sound. Its crust shifts by centimeters each year. Its magnetic field pulses. Its atmosphere vibrates with distant storms. Life listens in ways we barely understand. Some animals sense infrasound, the very low frequencies carried by thunder, volcanoes, even ocean waves collapsing thousands of kilometers away. Elephants feel these vibrations through their feet, like distant messages from the land itself. It's okay to drift. Now, picture rain falling through a prehistoric canopy. Each drop strikes leaves that evolved to guide water down to roots waiting in fertile soil. The sound of rain is partly physics, partly biology, and partly memory. Humans feel calm hearing it because life evolved under this rhythm for millions of years. A microfact drifts in softly. Some rainforest soils receive over 2,000 millimeters of rain per year, making the sound of water one of Earth's most ancient lullabies. Wind moves across open plains, tall grasses lean in waves. Life uses this sound to navigate, to hide, to communicate. Even single cells respond to vibration, adjusting their behavior long before nervous systems appear. It's okay to drift. We drift into an evening where early humans gather beside a quiet fire. Flames crackle, wood shifts, smoke curls upward in steady ribbons. This sound, simple, repeating, became part of the human nervous system long before written history. It signaled safety, warmth, shelter, community. The fires, soft pops and hisses told ancient minds that predators stayed clear. That night would pass gently. That warmth surrounded them. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Human voices rise next. Whispers in the dark, soft chants, low humming. The earliest music may have been nothing more than breath held steady in the quiet between heartbeats, but it carried meaning, connection, comfort. Even now, a low voice can calm the body, slowing the heartbeat, lowering the breath, bringing the mind into softer territory. Life shaped these responses, slowly, carefully, over hundreds of thousands of years. It's okay to drift. As we move closer to the present, Earth's soundscape grows richer, a blend of whispering leaves, soft rainfall, lapping waves, bird calls gliding across morning air, and the deep rumble of distant storms. Each sound is a reminder that life on Earth endures not through silence, but through quiet communication shared across species. A microfact settles like dust. The lowest sound ever recorded from a living creature comes from fin whales at frequencies as low as 16 hertz, below human hearing, but resonant enough to travel across entire ocean basins. Earth listens to itself. Life listens too. It's okay to drift. We drift across a calm plain at twilight. Air turns cool. shadows lengthen. The night chorus begins: crickets, frogs, distant nocturnal birds, each adding a small thread to the tapestry of sound. This chorus has existed in some form for over 200 million years, a continuity of life stretching through time, unbroken, undimmed. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Somewhere beneath the soil, worms move quietly through dark tunnels, loosening earth, building channels for water and air. Their motion releases faint vibrations that plants respond to, adjusting growth in subtle ways. Life does not require sound to communicate, only closeness, only presence. In polar regions, glaciers crack and shift, sending deep, booming vibrations across frozen valleys. These sounds travel differently, slower, heavier, carried not by air but through solid ice. It's okay to drift. Earth expresses itself in thunder, in wind, in waterfalls, in tiny ripples against river stones. And life responds, breathing, moving, listening, learning. We float through a rainforest night now, where sound becomes density, a living fabric around us. Insects create clouds of soft tones. Birds murmur in branches. Monkeys call distantly through canopies. Every layer vibrates with ancient memory. This is the world humans evolved in, a world filled not with silence, but with gentle, constant sound. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And the deeper truth settles softly. Life on Earth speaks in many languages: light, temperature, magnetism, vibration, chemical scent, sound. But beneath all of them, one message stays the same: you belong here. The living world has always carried you in its breath, its rhythms, its slow intelligence. The night thickens, softening thought, lowering awareness, bringing the mind closer to the threshold of sleep. Life continues, steady, warm, endlessly patient. The earth hums beneath it all, carrying you gently into its quiet music. It's okay to drift. It moves now with the softness of breath. Life folds into deeper rhythms, and the night hums around the edges of your awareness, warm, low, familiar. The story continues, not as information, but as memory rising from the quiet. Every living thing carries memory, not just the kind shaped by experience, but a deeper kind, the memory carved into molecules, into the architecture of life itself. It's okay to drift. DNA is one of Earth's great storytellers, a long, spiraling thread that records millions of tiny decisions made across time. The sequence, in a leaf, in a whale, in a human heartbeat, differs in its details, but it is made from the same alphabet preserved for more than 3.5 billion years. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. DNA is stable, patient, slow to change. But life needed something else too, something flexible, something that could respond quickly to warmth, cold, hunger, danger, a kind of short-term memory. And so the cell learned another language: epigenetics, tiny chemical switches that determine which genes wake and which rest, based on the life a creature lives. When a plant grows in strong wind, it strengthens itself. When the next generation grows, it inherits that readiness. Life remembers it's okay to drift. A microfact settles like calm dust. Some epigenetic markers can persist for 3 or more generations, allowing life to adjust far faster than DNA mutations alone could manage. Imagine ancient forests breathing under starlight, their leaves absorbing faint glimmers, their roots feeling vibrations from distant thunder, their chemistry shifting, shaping, adapting, carrying memory forward. This quiet responsiveness may be one of life's oldest talents. It moves through fungi as well, mycelial networks stretching beneath soil, sometimes spanning entire forests, sometimes covering areas larger than cities. One organism, one consciousness of nutrient and signal, responding to footsteps, to drought, to fallen wood. Earth listens to itself through these networks. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. We drift deeper into the memory of water, not metaphorical memory, but the memory carried by currents, temperature, salt, nutrient cycles, and the path of life moving through them. For 3 billion years, the ocean was the primary archive of living patterns. Currents repeated cycles, carrying warmth from the equator and cold from the poles, redistributing life, maintaining balance, preserving stories of what the planet needed. Whales still follow these patterns, traveling thousands of kilometers on routes older than human civilization. It's okay to drift. A microfact whispers. Blue whales migrate more than 8,000 kilometers, guided by water temperature, Earth's magnetic field, and memories passed through generations. Life moves in inherited pathways. Birds follow invisible lines across continents. Salmon return to the precise river where their ancestors were born. Sea turtles cross entire oceans, carrying maps etched in instinct. Memory is not always conscious. Sometimes it is simply survival becoming lineage. Imagine standing in an ancient grassland hundreds of thousands of years ago. Herds move around you, hooves pressing gentle rhythms into soil. Their migrations shape the land, tilting the balance of grasses and shrubs, creating niches that invite new species to grow. These cycles persisted through ice ages, warming periods, volcanic winters. Now we move inward into the memory carried by each of your own cells. Every heartbeat follows a pattern refined by millions of ancestors before you. Every breath you take echoes the respiration of ancient cells, processing oxygen in nearly the same way as the earliest creatures that learned to use it. Even sleep carries evolutionary memory. Mammals evolved REM sleep about 180 million years ago, and the same brainwave patterns appear in both humans and small marsupials across millions of years of separation. Sleep is not an escape, but a return to a state older than thought. It's okay to drift. Life remembers danger too. Not with fear, but with adaptations. Shape, color, behavior. Butterflies with wing patterns that resemble eyes to confuse predators. Plants that release chemical scents when grazed, warning neighbors to prepare their defenses. Schools of fish turning as one, each individual reacting to tiny changes in pressure, sound, light. The school becomes one body, one memory, one flowing intelligence. A microfact settles like a soft footstep. Fish in tightly coordinated schools respond to movements within 100 milliseconds. Their bodies guided by pressure-sensitive cells called lateral lines. Life listens to touch, to movement, to the absence of sound. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. We move now into the memory held by landscapes. Every valley, every river bend, every coastline is shaped not just by geology, but by life interacting with stone and water. Coral reefs build vast underwater cities, layer upon layer, generation upon generation, holding the memory of warm seas. Mangroves hold shorelines in place, their roots weaving soil from tide and silt. Beavers reshape rivers, creating wetlands, filtering water, building habitats for thousands of species. Life engineers the planet slowly, quietly, with patience beyond measure. It's okay to drift. A microfact glimmers. Rainforests recycle up to 75% of their own rainfall, using dense plant layers to trap moisture and release it again, creating their own weather. The Earth you know is a collaboration between all living things. We drift into the deep past again, when ice sheets stretched across continents, white plains catching low sunlight, moving inch by inch over thousands of years. Streams formed beneath them, carving tunnels, shifting rock, leaving behind valleys that would later fill with forests and lakes. Even ice carries memory, faint trapped bubbles holding air from hundreds of thousands of years ago, recording temperature composition clues to the rhythms of past climates. Earth keeps its own diary. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And now life's memory returns to you. The human body is not separate from these patterns, but part of them, woven through billions of years of gentle refinement. The calcium in your bones was once part of ancient seas, settled in shells, lifted by tectonic motion, weathered into soil, absorbed by plants, carried by water, and eventually folded into you. The carbon in your breath comes from stars, but its journey through Earth moved through forest leaves, river plankton, the warmth of summer air. The iron in your blood once colored the oceans rust red when oxygen first appeared. You are made of earth, quite literally, of rock, of water, of ancient warmth, of life's slow, persistent memory. And somewhere inside you, deep in your cells, tiny mitochondria still work, descendants of free-living bacteria that chose cooperation over independence. Their decision, billions of years old, still powers every heartbeat. Life's memory is not a metaphor, but a quiet truth echoing through every breath, every cell, every slow drift toward sleep. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. The night grows heavier now, soft at the edges, warm at its core, carrying you on currents older than thought, older than language, older than the first spark of life in ancient water. Earth continues its long, gentle remembering, and you drift with it, carried effortlessly inside the living story that shaped you. It's okay to drift. It moves gently now, as if the entire earth were exhaling beneath you. Life begins to reveal the structures that hold it together, not loud, not sudden, but in the form of quiet patterns repeating across millions of years. Every ecosystem on Earth, no matter how vast or delicate, is built from slow architecture, shaped by time, gravity, sunlight, and the steady patience of living things. It's okay to drift. Imagine the world as a tapestry, each thread representing a species, each knot a moment of interaction, each color a memory of survival. From a distance, it forms landscapes, but up close, you see the delicate weaving, the gentle interdependence, the way one life leans softly on another. A microfact settles like dust. More than 80% of all species on Earth are still undiscovered, hidden in soil, deep oceans, forests, and microscopic worlds. The architecture of life is far broader and far quieter than our human senses can fully perceive. Beneath forests, the ground is alive with roots threading through soil, searching for water, sharing nutrients, communicating chemical signals that pass from tree to tree like soft messages in the dark. This network grows slowly, unseen but unmistakable, shaping the health of entire ecosystems. It's okay to drift. When light shifts across leaves in the morning, plants respond almost imperceptibly, tiny cells, adjusting their angle, turning toward warmth, fixing carbon, whispering energy into the fabric of Earth. This daily ritual happens everywhere, on mountaintops, in grasslands, beneath drifting clouds, over warm oceans. A quiet truth flows beneath the surface. Life builds itself from cycles, each cycle looping into the next carbon, to leaf, leaf to soil, soil to root, root to air, air to breath, breath to thought, thought to memory. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. We drift now toward the coastlines where land meets water, and the architecture of life becomes fluid. Mangroves stand on slender roots, holding entire shorelines in place, slowing waves, filtering water, creating safe nurseries for fish and soft-bodied creatures that depend on their shadows. A microfact arrives with the tide. Mangrove forests can store carbon up to 5 times more efficiently than tropical rainforests, making them some of Earth's most powerful natural guardians. It's okay to drift. Offshore, coral reefs rise in intricate formations built from countless tiny polyps, each one no larger than a grain of rice, but together forming living structures visible from space. They glow with soft colors, filtered through clear water, pinks, blues, golden tints, all shaped by symbiotic algae that live inside coral tissue, a partnership millions of years old. When the ocean warms too quickly, this partnership breaks, and corals fade, turning pale, as if the sea itself were holding its breath. But when conditions soften again, life returns slowly, carefully reweaving the architecture of color. Now the scene shifts toward grasslands, stretching under pale blue sky. Here, the architecture is built from openness, broad ecosystems held together by grazing animals, insects, soil microbes, and grasses whose roots reach meters deep, anchoring water and preventing erosion. A microfact glows gently. Some prairie grasses have root systems extending more than 3 meters underground, holding entire landscapes steady even in drought. Wind moves across the plains, carrying seeds, pollen, and the distant calls of migrating birds. Migration is one of life's grand structures, a living bridge between continents, changing with seasons, guided by senses tuned to Earth's rhythms. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And beneath oceans and forests, deep within the crust, life hides in places untouched by sunlight. Microbes live in rock pores tens of kilometers beneath the surface, surviving on chemical reactions instead of photosynthesis. This deep biosphere may contain more biomass than all animals on the surface combined. It is Earth's oldest archive, a living library of resilience. It's okay to drift. Everywhere we look, the architecture of life reveals itself: slow, patient, interwoven oceans, shaping climate, plants shaping air, animals shaping soil, and microorganisms shaping everything. Life is not random, it is relational, a quiet web of connections built grain by grain, pulse by pulse, breath by breath. It moves with a rhythm, steady as waves, soft as moss, calm as dusk, settling over a quiet valley. It's okay to drift. It continues now, as if the earth were revealing another layer of itself, a deeper pattern, a softer structure woven through every living thing. The night feels quieter here, as if the world has exhaled and left space for you to drift within the architecture of life. It's okay to drift. Life builds complexity out of simplicity, repeating gentle forms across scales, branching rivers, branching trees, branching lungs, each shaped by the same flowing logic. Water moving downhill, air moving through chambers, blood moving through small branching passages, all following ancient mathematics that life discovered long before humans could name it. A microfact glides into the dark. The fractal patterns found in tree branches, river deltas, and the blood vessels in your body all follow similar scaling laws because nature conserves energy in the same elegant way at every scale. Bodies and ecosystems are not separate inventions but echoes of one another, reflected across millions of years. Imagine a rainforest canopy, layers stacked like gentle waves, sunlight filtering downward through leaves, shaped by light's slow descent. Every level of the forest has purpose. Birds in the upper branches, insects drifting between shadows, moss gathering moisture near the forest floor. Nothing is wasted, nothing forgotten. Life arranges itself with quiet precision. It's okay to drift. We move to a colder landscape, a boreal forest stretching across northern continents, where trees grow slower, their trunks thick with resin, their roots tied to cold earth, holding stories of winter and long memory. Snow settles across branches, dampening sound, softening edges, creating a world where silence becomes architecture and life listens closely. A microfact rests in the hush. Boreal forests store nearly 1/3 of Earth's land-based carbon, more than all tropical forests combined, despite their slow growth and shorter summers. Life does not measure importance by speed, but by endurance. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Now, the scene shifts again, carried by the quiet turning of the planet to deserts, where life builds architecture from scarcity. Cacti expand and contract, holding water in chambers lined with soft tissues, roots spreading wide rather than deep, collecting moisture from thin morning air. Some desert plants wait years for rain, blooming in vibrant waves when droplets finally touch the sand. A brief miracle timed perfectly by the slow intelligence of survival. It's okay to drift. Creatures that live here build systems in their bodies that echo the land: camel cells storing water, reptiles drawing warmth from sunlit stones, insects navigating by starlight using patterns older than mountains. A microfact shimmers in the heat. Some desert beetles collect moisture from morning fog by raising their bodies at an angle, allowing droplets to run down grooves on their shells directly to their mouths. Architecture can be quiet, humble, almost invisible, yet essential. We drift toward the savannas, where herds move like slow rivers, their paths carving invisible corridors through grass-shaping plant cycles, dispersing seeds, balancing predators and prey, each group becoming part of a larger pattern, a living mosaic held together by movement. Grass responds to being grazed, its roots strengthening its nutrients, cycling faster, its ecosystem thriving because of the very creatures that consume it. Life evolves through mutual shaping, not through isolation. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. In wetlands, the architecture becomes even softer, water folding through roots and reeds, carrying silt, slowing itself, filtering, renewing, nurturing species that depend on stillness. Wetlands are gentle but powerful cradles for birds, fish, amphibians, and microbes that transform chemicals in ways that support entire regions. A microfact settles like a rippling reflection. Although wetlands cover only 6% of Earth's land surface, they hold nearly 40% of all species that live part of their lives in freshwater. Life gathers where water lingers, and water lingers where life encourages it. We move now to mountain ecosystems, where thin air and cold nights force plants to grow low, close to the ground, forming mats and cushions that trap warmth, store moisture, and shield roots from wind. Even here above, forests above the reach of deep soil, life forms architecture, tiny, compact, resilient, born of patience. It's okay to drift. A microfact rests lightly in the high air. Some alpine plants grow only a few millimeters per year, their lifespan reaching centuries, their survival shaped by simplicity. Life endures by expanding, but also by shrinking, by slowing, by knowing its environment with a quiet precision. And beneath all these ecosystems, deep in the soil, mycelial webs, microbial clusters, and mineral-binding organisms weave the foundation of Earth's living architecture. A layer invisible to the eye, yet responsible for decomposing organic matter, releasing nutrients, storing carbon, and building structure. The top few centimeters of fertile soil take hundreds of years to form and can be lost in a single storm, yet life rebuilds it patiently, layer by layer, breath by breath. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And as this part settles, you feel the quiet intelligence moving beneath every system, every leaf, every drop of water, every grain of soil. Life shapes the planet slowly but completely, with patterns so gentle they almost feel like rest. It's okay to drift. It moves now with a slower rhythm, as if Earth were revealing its heartbeat, subtle, steady, felt, more than heard. Life has always pulsed, not just in bodies, but in systems, oceans rising and falling, forests breathing in waves, grasslands moving like a single gentle tide under wind. This pulse is older than species, older than continents, older even than the shapes of the oceans themselves. It's okay to drift. If you listen in the quiet, you can sense patterns moving beneath the surface of thought, warming and cooling, growing and decaying, shifting with seasons and sunlight. These pulses carry the rhythms of life, the slow choreography that connects everything from plankton drifting in soft blue water to the roots of the oldest trees anchoring entire valleys. A microfact glides into place. Earth's biosphere, the thin layer of life that wraps the planet, extends only about 20 kilometers from deepest ocean trenches to the highest flying birds. Yet, within this narrow zone, billions of species pulse in synchrony. Life thrives not from isolation but from shared rhythm. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. In the oceans, twilight zones light fades to blue, then blue fades to darkness, and yet life continues pulsing in soft tempo. Jelly-like creatures drift upward at night and downward by day. A vertical migration repeated every 24 hours, so vast it moves more biomass than any other movement on Earth. It's the planet's quiet heartbeat, rising and falling with the turning of the world. It's okay to drift. Above them, kelp forests sway in currents, their long ribbons moving with the same slow pulse, growing centimeters each day, gently feeding entire ecosystems with motion alone. Fish slip through their shadows, crustaceans cling to stems, seals drift in and out of green light, and everything moves with a rhythm shaped by tides. A microfact hums softly. Some kelp species can grow nearly half a meter per day, making them among the fastest growing organisms on Earth. Yet their movements remain slow, measured, undisturbed. Life expands, gently carried by the pulse of water. We follow this rhythm to river systems, channels twisting like veins across continents, carrying nutrients, sediments, life itself from mountains to seas. The pulse of a river is shaped by gravity, seasons, rainfall, and the organisms that inhabit it. Beavers build dams that slow the flow, creating wetlands rich with sound and shadow. Their architecture altering entire landscapes in ways that ripple outward for decades. It's okay to drift. When we rise again toward the sky, another pulse becomes visible, the movement of air across the planet. Winds carry heat from the equator, moisture from oceans, dust from deserts, pollen from forests, all drifting in waves shaped by Earth's rotation. A microfact passes like a soft breeze. Saharan dust, carried thousands of kilometers across the Atlantic, brings nutrients to the Amazon rainforest, fueling some of the richest ecosystems on Earth. Even the wind carries life's memory, moving it in patterns repeated for millions of years. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Forests respond to this with their own rhythms. Leaves open and close stomata, widening during cooler hours, breathing moisture into the air, creating tiny weather patterns that rise through branches and fall again in faint droplets. A forest is not silent, its pulse is a low vibration. Sap, rising air, shifting roots, communicating insects, whispering through the canopy. It's okay to drift, and deeper still, beneath forests, beneath grasslands, beneath deserts, the soil pulses with chemical exchanges, breakdown, and renewal, a quiet alchemy guided by billions of tiny lives. Microbes feed on decaying roots. Fungi carry nutrients across networks. Arthropods till the soil, and all of them follow cycles unseen yet essential. A microfact arrives like a soft footstep. Soil respiration, the slow release of carbon by microorganisms, is the second largest natural carbon flux on Earth, surpassed only by the ocean. Life breathes in every direction, through every surface, in every corner of the living world. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. As we drift farther, the planet's larger pulses begin to surface: the beat of seasons, the flow of monsoons, the quiet rising of spring sap, the slow retreat of winter cold. These changes are gentle, predictable, shaped by Earth's tilt, its orbit, its long circling of the sun. Everything on Earth, from the smallest cell to the longest living tree, is tuned to this cosmic rhythm, a soft metronome that has guided life for billions of years. It's okay to drift, and as the night settles deeper, this pulse becomes part of you, entering breath, entering thought, entering the soft edges of sleep, where the boundary between the self and the living planet begins to dissolve into something calm, ancient, deeply familiar. It deepens now, the pulse slowing, as if the planet itself were drawing a long, quiet breath. Life continues, its gentle rhythm, not loud, not urgent, just steady, like the soft tide that has never stopped moving. Every living thing follows some version of this pulse. Plants opening their leaves at dawn, closing them at dusk. Nocturnal creatures waking under starlight, resting when sun returns. Forests inhaling moisture in the cool morning air and releasing it through warm afternoon light. It's okay to drift. This unity of rhythm is one of Earth's oldest harmonies. Even the earliest life responded to cycles, heat and cold, light and dark tides, rising and falling. Cells divided in patterns guided by these ancient signals, a slow choreography repeated through deep time. A microfact settles softly. Circadian rhythms, the internal clocks that guide sleep and activity, exist in organisms as simple as cyanobacteria, which have been adapting to day-night cycles for over 2.5 billion years. The body carries patterns older than thought, older than land, older than the shapes of continents. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Above ground, the pulse becomes visible in animal migrations, each species following its own pathway, yet all moving in accordance with seasons, with stars, with subtle changes in air and water. Caribou cross frozen tundra, their hooves tapping soft rhythms into snow following ancient trails. Monarch butterflies drift across continents, their wings beating a pulse older than empires. Birds spiral into the sky, guided by magnetic fields and the memory of countless migrations before them. It's okay to drift. A microfact glimmers. Arctic terns travel up to 70,000 kilometers per year, the longest known migration of any animal on Earth, chasing summer across the globe and returning with unerring accuracy. Life follows the pulse of the planet with exquisite patience. In oceans, the pulse becomes deeper, darker, colder. Whales dive into the quiet beneath sunlight, their heartbeats slowing sometimes to as few as 2 beats per minute as they sink through layers of blue. Their songs travel through water, echoing across vast distances, carrying the weight of ocean memory. The body of Earth holds these vibrations like a long, unbroken hum. It's okay to drift. We drift toward quieter waters where seagrass meadows sway in gentle currents. Their blades filter sunlight, carving beams into green corridors. Small creatures move through them in slow, pulsing patterns, a rhythm guided by tides and the moon's distant pull. A microfact moves with the current. Seagrass captures carbon up to 35 times faster than tropical rainforests, locking it gently into sediments and slowing the planet's warming pulse. Life pulses not just in time, but in the balance it maintains. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. On land, trees follow the pulse in their rings each year, adding a new layer, a new memory, a record of warmth, rain, fire, frost stretching back centuries. Their growth is slow, quiet, but confident. A giant sequoia standing in silence may have witnessed more than 3,000 years of seasons each. Ring a gentle pulse, a soft heartbeat captured in wood. It's okay to drift. We move through grasslands again, the pulse expanding outward as herds move in synchrony, predators pacing the edges, insects swirling through heat shimmer, all following the same clock set by sun, rain, temperature, food, and the long echo of climate cycles that unfold across millennia. Even mountains follow a pulse, not daily, not yearly, but through the slow rise and fall of rock, the erosion of slopes, the carving of valleys, shaped by wind, water, ice, and time. The pulse of geology is measured not in beats, but in ages. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And beneath everything, earthquakes, volcanic murmurs, hydrothermal currents, tectonic drift, all contribute to a planetary heartbeat. The low-frequency vibrations that pass through stone and water and living cells alike. Life evolved inside this trembling, adjusting its sensitivity to sense danger, sense opportunity, sense change. A microfact whispers. Many animals detect earthquakes hours or days before they occur, responding not to sound, but to subtle pre-seismic vibrations that ripple through ground and water. Life listens deeply at frequencies humans rarely notice. It's okay to drift. As we move further into the night, the planet's pulse becomes almost indistinguishable from your own breath, slowing muscles, softening thoughts, gliding like quiet birds across dark water. Your body follows rhythms that echo the cycles of life, the turning of earth, the pull of the moon, the drift of oceans, the whisper of air moving at dawn. Everything pulses in the same long, patient, ancient rhythm, and as you rest inside it, you feel the world settling breath by breath, pulse by pulse, into a calm, older than memory, soft, slow, steady. It's okay to drift. It settles now, a deeper layer of calm moving beneath the story, as if Earth were guiding you gently into the stillness where balance is born. Every living system rests on this balance, a delicate interplay of forces softly pushing, softly yielding, quietly adjusting over millions of years. Life has never grown in isolation. It shapes the planet, and the planet shapes it in return. This slow conversation between air, water, stone, and breath is what keeps Earth alive. It's okay to drift. We start where balance first appeared, in the warmth of ancient oceans, where early organisms learned to trust the rhythm of chemistry. They balanced energy, intake, growth, repair, and rest, even before complex cells existed. This was the first equilibrium, the first quiet agreement between life and environment, the first step toward the complexity we know today. A microfact rises gently. Even the simplest bacteria maintain internal stability. keeping their internal chemistry within tight limits, a process called homeostasis, one of the oldest requirements of life. Life began by mastering balance and never stopped learning. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. We drift now towards shallow coastal waters, where tides sweep in and out, carrying nutrients, light, and warmth. Here, seagrass beds and coral reefs maintain balance through color growth and partnership. Corals host algae within their tissues, trading protection for energy, and this cooperation fuels entire ecosystems bursting with movement in water shallow enough to touch sunlight. When the ocean warms too quickly or becomes too acidic, the balance falters and the reef dims. But given time cooler, currents return, light settles, and the architecture rebuilds itself slowly, patiently, with the same persistence that shaped the planet. It's okay to drift. We move inland now, across dense forests where the balance takes a different shape. Trees breathe in carbon dioxide, release oxygen, and regulate temperature, moisture, and even rainfall. A microfact glows gently. Forests create up to 40% of the rainfall that falls within them through transpiration, the slow release of moisture from leaves. This means you are listening to a system that literally makes its own weather, balancing water, air, and cloud in a continuous cycle older than mountains. And beneath the roots, a secret balance unfolds. Fungi partnering with trees, trading minerals for sugars, sharing nutrients, warning of danger, adjusting growth, maintaining a harmony that shapes the breath of the entire ecosystem. Life's balance is not silent, it is simply soft. It's okay to drift. We drift again over grasslands, golden waves moving under wind, sculpted by grazing herds, kept open by fire, and enriched by soil organisms that break down plant matter, turn sunlight into nutrients, and return fertility to the land. A quiet truth settles. Fire in these ecosystems is not destruction but renewal, clearing dead growth, releasing seeds, returning minerals to soil, and maintaining diversity. This balance between fire, rain, grazing, and soil creates one of Earth's most resilient environments. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Life on Earth is always adjusting, always shifting, always seeking a kind of dynamic stillness where every element, every species, every cycle supports the next. In wetlands, balance takes the shape of water, slow, reflective, weightless. Marshes and swamps filter pollutants, regulate flooding, provide resting places for migratory birds, and serve as nurseries for countless species. Wetlands can absorb water up to 20 times their volume, making them natural buffers against floods. Their balance is fluid, never fixed, always responding to tides, seasons, and rainfall. It's okay to drift. Now, we move toward deserts, where the balance is shaped by scarcity. Here, every drop of water, every moment of shade, every faint breeze plays a role. Plants open their pores only at night. Animals hide in burrows during the day, and the soil itself stores memory of every rare rainfall. The balance is thin but strong, a delicate architecture shaped by survival, not abundance. Then the scene shifts toward alpine regions, where air thins, wind sharpens, and plants grow low to the ground. Their balance lies in conserving heat, clinging to the earth, and forming tight cushions that protect small insects, retain moisture, and create miniature ecosystems between rocks glazed with frost. A microfact flows in, like cold air. In some alpine areas, plants may grow only millimeters each year, yet live for centuries, steady, stubborn, balanced against the sky. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Life always finds equilibrium, even in extremes. Now we follow rivers, their paths carved by snowmelt, rain, and gravity. Rivers balance erosion, and deposition carrying soil from mountains, laying it softly across plains, shaping new land while nourishing ancient valleys. Fish migrate upstream against the current, using memory and instinct to maintain the balance of reproduction. Predators follow. Insects bloom, birds gather, and entire ecosystems depend on the pulse of moving water. It's okay to drift. A microfact floats downriver. Some salmon travel over 3,000 kilometers between feeding grounds and spawning streams. An endurance shaped by nutrient cycles that link ocean to forest, forest to river, river to sea. This is balance, written in movement. And as we drift closer to the human world, another kind of balance appears, the one shaped inside the body. Your heartbeat adjusts to temperature, light, emotion, breath, the balance between oxygen and carbon dioxide, between rest and energy, between stillness and thought. Your lungs follow cycles older than mammals, your cells follow rhythms older than oceans, and your blood carries minerals older than the continents beneath you. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Life's balance is not static but fluid, a constant conversation between what is, what was, and what can be. The earth holds this balance gently in tides, in migration, in seasonal warmth, in forests breathing with dawn, and lakes freezing under moonlight. All of it, every cycle, every rhythm, every quiet negotiation keeps life steady, keeps life soft, keeps life here. And as night deepens, you feel yourself drifting into that same balance, held by the same slow intelligence that has shaped every living thing for billions of years. It's okay to drift. It softens again, the world dimming into a deeper quiet, as if Earth were lowering its voice to speak in the language of equilibrium. Balance reveals itself differently at night, gentler, blurred, at the edges closer to breath than to thought. Life leans into this quiet, each creature folding into the rhythm that suits its place, its climate, its season, its story. It's okay to drift. Now we move toward coastal estuaries where rivers surrender to the sea, and balance becomes a meeting point. Fresh water blending with salt currents, weaving into one another, nutrients rising from the deep and drifting down from land. This is one of the most fertile ecosystems on Earth, a cradle for countless species where young fish shelter, birds feed, and plants anchor soft tidal soil. A microfact settles into the tide. Estuaries provide habitat for over 75% of all commercially harvested fish. Their balance supporting human life far beyond their quiet shorelines. Life flows through these spaces in pulses that match the pull of the moon, high tide, low tide, ebb flow, each cycle shaping the creatures that depend on it. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. We drift farther into the open ocean, where balance takes a form both immense and delicate. Here plankton float in sunlit layers, absorbing carbon, releasing oxygen, feeding fish and whales, while drifting in patterns shaped by light, temperature, and the faintest currents. A microfact hums quietly. Phytoplankton produce over half of the oxygen you breathe, small cells holding a balance that sustains life across the planet. Their cycles form a planetary rhythm, rising towards sunlight during the day, sinking into cooler depths at night, endlessly repeating steady and soft. It's okay to drift. Now the scene shifts toward inland valleys, where rivers slow flatten and expand into broad, fertile plains. These floodplains, though often still and quiet, hold one of life's most essential balances, linking soil, water, migration, and renewal. Each flood deposits new sediment. Each recession reveals fresh land. Each cycle nurtures plants that feed animals, that feed predators, that return nutrients to the soil. A microfact rests gently. Floodplains support more biodiversity per square kilometer than almost any other terrestrial ecosystem. Life thrives where water remembers where to go. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. From valleys, we move upward into thick cloud forests, where the balance becomes vapor, drifting, condensing, falling, rising again. Trees in these forests capture moisture from passing clouds, their leaves combing water from air, dripping it into soil, feeding streams that sustain entire regions downstream. It's a slow, invisible balance: mist feeding leaf, leaf feeding root, root feeding river, river feeding plain. It's okay to drift. A micro fact floats through the mist. In some cloud forests, up to 60% of all water reaching the ground comes from fog, drip, not rainfall, a balance built from air itself. Now the balance shifts to creatures, those that craft their own ecosystems. Beavers shaping wetlands, birds dispersing seeds, elephants clearing forest paths, wolves guiding prey movement, each species influencing thousands of others through simple acts repeated across generations. This is trophic balance, quiet, dynamic, older than human memory. When one species disappears, a thread loosens, and the web trembles, sometimes barely, sometimes deeply. Life adjusts, rearranges, rebuilds, but the balance becomes more fragile, more tentative, more soft at the edges. It's okay to drift. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. We drift now into the dim blue of twilight ecosystems, those that exist between day and night, between tide and land, between warmth and cold. These edge worlds, salt marshes, dusk meadows, coral shallows, forest understories, are places where balance becomes transition, where species shift, activity, behavior, and chemistry to match changing light. Everything moves slowly, carefully, rhythmically, as if life were exhaling into the night. Many plants change their leaf orientation at sunset, tilting to reduce heat loss or to protect delicate tissues from nighttime cold. Even stillness is a form of balance. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. As night deepens, life withdraws into equilibrium, nocturnal creatures emerging, diurnal ones settling air, cooling soil, breathing water, releasing stored warmth, forest canopies whispering with soft motion, barely a sound, just enough to remind the world that balance remains. The planet holds itself in steady rhythm, a slow, ancient, unbroken heartbeat, guiding all living things into the dark part of the cycle where rest, recovery, and renewal take shape. And as you drift inside this rhythm, your own balance deepens, breath, slowing muscles, loosening awareness, softening, falling into alignment with the quiet intelligence that holds Earth together. It's okay to drift. It shifts now almost imperceptibly, as if the Earth were easing you into an even slower current, one that moves not through sound or breath or migration, but through cycles so vast they unfold across centuries, millennia, and entire ages of the planet. These cycles are the deep heartbeat of Earth, circling beneath everything alive, setting the tempo for evolution, climate, ocean currents, and the quiet drift of life across time. It's okay to drift. The first of these great rhythms is water, the planet's endless circulation, from ocean to cloud, to rain, to river, to soil, to root to air again. This cycle is old enough to have carried the same molecules of water through countless generations of forests, seas, and living bodies. A microfact glides into the quiet. The water in your body right now contains molecules that once moved through ancient oceans hundreds of millions of years before humans appeared. Every sip, every drop, every breath of moisture is part of Earth's long patience. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Another cycle rises, the carbon flow shifting through air, plant, soil, rock, ocean, and back again. A system that sustains life by balancing energy, light, and the chemistry of breath. Plants gather carbon slowly, quietly, drawing sunlight into themselves, building leaves, roots, wood, and entire ecosystems from invisible threads of air. When they fall, soil takes up the task. Microbes breaking down old matter, returning carbon, releasing energy, building new foundations so forests can rise again. It's okay to drift. This exchange has shaped Earth's climate, kept temperatures stable, and allowed life to thrive through warm ages and ice ages, through volcanic winters and long stretches of abundance. A micro fact settles gently. Soil stores nearly 3 times more carbon than all living vegetation combined. A quiet reservoir, nourishing life from below. Now, a different cycle appears. Slower, deeper, almost geological. The formation of rock and its slow erosion back to sediment. Mountains rise over millions of years, folded by tectonic motion, lifted by forces beneath the crust, and sculpted by wind, rain, and ice. These towering forms eventually soften, collapse, and return to the sea grain by grain, to be used again by life and by Earth itself. The patience of rock is something life learned from the endurance of mountains, reflected in tree rings, in coral skeletons, in the slow thickening of shells, and the quiet growth of reefs. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. We drift now toward ocean currents, enormous rivers of water, moving through the sea, carrying heat, nutrients, and life across thousands of kilometers. Warm currents rise, cold currents sink, winds shift, tides pull, and life follows in slow spirals of movement older than continents. It's okay to drift. A microfact hums just above silence. The global ocean conveyor belt, a system connecting all the world's oceans, takes nearly 1,000 years to complete a single, full circulation. Life adapts to this rhythm, tuning, migration, reproduction, and even body chemistry to the changing patterns of temperature and nutrient flow. Now the cycle of seasons rises, gentle, steady, repeating endlessly. Winter cools, spring warms, summer glows, autumn settles, each shift guiding growth, rest, movement, and renewal. Every forest, every grassland, every coastline has evolved in partnership with this turning. Trees hold sugars through winter, waiting for spring. Birds follow the lengthening daylight. Flowers open only when the air holds enough warmth for pollinators to return. This is balance, but also rhythm, a soft metronome guiding life across continents. It's okay to drift. We drift deeper into the slow cycles of climate patterns shaped by Earth's orbit, its tilt, its distance from the sun, its long circular path around the solar system. Ice ages come and go in steady intervals, oceans rising and falling, valleys opening, rivers shifting, coarse species adjusting in ways almost invisible on a human timeline. A microfact settles into the dimness. Earth has experienced at least 5 major ice ages over the past 2.4 billion years, each one reshaping life and preparing the conditions for new forms to thrive. Life survived them all, carried through cold, through darkness, through scarcity, by the same slow resilience that moves through every breathing thing. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And now, another cycle rises, the passing of generations, the transfer of memory from parent to offspring to lineage to species. Genes shift, adapt, hold, release, and refine over thousands of years, guiding evolution with subtle adjustments passed quietly from life to life. It's okay to drift. These cycles, water, carbon, climate, ocean, season, generation, do not shout, do not hurry, do not demand. They simply turn endlessly, softly carrying life through time in a cradle made of rhythm, patience, and change. And as you drift inside them, thought loosens, breath slows, and the boundaries between body and planet grow thin, as if you were part of the same long cycle, moving gently toward rest. It's okay to drift. It slows again, as if the planet were guiding you deeper into cycles, almost too large to see, too slow to feel, yet always present, quiet as moonlight on water. Earth's patience stretches far beyond seasons, beyond migrations, beyond the lifespan of forests or reefs. Some cycles are so long that entire species appear and disappear, while they continue turning steady as breath soft as dusk. It's okay to drift. One of these is the cycle of continents, the slow drifting of plates across Earth's surface, a movement measured in centimeters per year, the speed of a fingernail growing. Land masses separate, collide, rise, sink, and rise again, carrying life with them into new climates, new oceans, new paths of evolution. A micro-fact settles like quiet stone. The Atlantic Ocean is widening by about 2 to 5 centimeters per year, slowly reshaping coastlines and altering patterns of currents and wind on a timescale too gentle for human senses. This drift has guided every chapter of life, opening migration routes, closing others, shifting rainfall, creating mountains, erasing seas softly, rewriting the stage on which life unfolds. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. Earth also follows a cycle of nutrients: phosphorus from rock, nitrogen from air, iron from dust. Each particle carried through ecosystems, feeding forests, fertilizing oceans, building the bodies of creatures that live and die and return themselves to soil again. Even through extinction events, even through cold ages, even through long stretches of quiet, these elements keep moving, restoring balance, preparing the way for new life. It's okay to drift. Now the scene deepens into the cycle of birth and decay, the most ancient rhythm of all. Nothing in nature ends it, merely returns, transforms, becomes part of something else. A fallen leaf carried by wind, settling into soil, feeding fungi, feeding roots, feeding trees, whose branches feed birds, whose wings scatter seeds that grow into forests again. Life is not linear, but circular, a gentle return to itself, across every scale, from a single cell to an entire biome. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. In the deepest oceans, another cycle unfolds, one of sinking and rising, known as the marine snow. Endless particles drifting downward, shells, plankton, organic fragments, all falling softly to the seafloor, where they feed ancient communities and eventually become sediment, rock, and ocean memory. A microfact drifts like a faint glow. More than 80% of organic matter that sinks as marine snow is consumed by deep-sea organisms, forming a hidden cycle that has supported life for millions of years. Even in darkness, Earth continues to turn its quiet wheel. It's okay to drift. Now we rise into the cycle of light, the journey of photons born at the heart of the sun, taking tens of thousands of years to reach its surface before crossing space and touching Earth. Warming leaves, guiding migrations, driving weather, building every green landscape that has ever existed. Every blade of grass, every forest canopy, every breath of oxygen is shaped by this slow journey from star to sky to living cell. You breathe softly, and the universe exhales through you. And then there is the slow cycle of life itself, the long unfolding of evolution, stretching across billions of years, each species a brief shimmer in a vast river of ancestry. Nothing arrives fully formed. Everything grows, changes, adapts, rests, tries again in patterns so subtle they appear still. even though they are always moving. It's okay to drift. A microfact glimmers softly. Over 99% of all species that have ever lived on Earth are now extinct, not through sudden endings, but through the natural flow of ecological change, opening space for new forms of life to rise from what came before. Extinction and emergence are two parts of the same slow cycle, a quiet reshaping that has guided life through 5 great mass extinctions and countless smaller turns. Earth remembers them in stone and fossils, in ancient shorelines, in the chemistry of oceans, and in the faint genetic echoes carried by modern species. All these cycles, slow, soft, enduring, hold life in place, steadying the planet like a hand beneath water, supporting everything from microbes to forests, to the warm quiet of the human body resting in the night. And as they continue turning, your awareness drifts with them, loosening, slowing, becoming lighter, as if thought itself were following Earth's long cadence back towards stillness. It's okay to drift. It grows quieter now, the cycles fading into something softer, something closer to the place where your thoughts begin to blur, where the Earth feels less like a planet and more like a slow, breathing presence beneath you. And as the night deepens, you begin to sense the long memory carried inside every breath you take. You are safe here. For all the vastness of Earth's living systems, their rhythms eventually arrive in the same place. The human body, a small world, built from ancient water, ancient minerals, ancient light, all gathered through billions of years and shaped into the form that carries you now. A microfact drifts near. Nearly 60% of the human body is made of water, and much of that water is older than every mountain on Earth, cycling endlessly since the planet first cooled. When you inhale, your breath becomes part of a cycle that began long before lungs existed, before forests, before insects, before the first leaf reached toward the sun. You are safe here. Your breathing, now slow, unhurried, steady, mirrors the rhythm of organisms far older than you. Cyanobacteria, pulsing in ancient seas. Giant ferns exhaling through dawn. Mist whales rising to the surface under moonlight. Trees releasing moisture into cool air, the planet itself cooling and warming across ages. Each breath is part of this lineage, this long memory, this quiet continuity. It is not simply oxygen entering lungs, but the Earth moving through you, and you moving through the Earth in cycles so soft they almost feel like dreaming. You are safe here. The minerals in your blood, iron, calcium, magnesium, were once part of the crust carried by rivers, lifted by roots, folded into leaves, and returned to soil in the slow patience of living time. Bones hold the memory of ancient seas. Heartbeats hold the memory of early mammals. Sleep holds the memory of countless nights where ancestors listened to wind through branches and trusted the dark to keep them whole. A microfact glides gently. The iron in human blood comes from stars that exploded more than 4.5 billion years ago, scattering metals that later became part of Earth and eventually part of you. You carry the memory of stars, but also the memory of streams, tides, forests, deep roots, and simple cells floating in warm water somewhere half a world away in time. You are safe here. Your muscles relax, because mammals have long associated darkness and stillness with safety, with caves and night shelters, with warmth shared with fire dimming to embers. Life built this softness into your nerves long before cities existed, before languages, before history. Your heartbeat slows because the parasympathetic system, the system of rest, digestion, and repair, is older than thought, older than stories, older than fear. It is the body returning to its original rhythm, the one it learned inside the ancient quiet. You are safe here. We drift now into the calm field of your inner world, where the long arcs of Earth's cycles begin dissolving into the gentle movements of body and breath. The boundary between outside and inside grows thin, like mist, touching a sleeping lake like tide slipping through sand. A microfact settles with the stillness. Every breath you take contains roughly 10 sextillion molecules, some of which have passed through forests, animals, mountains, volcanoes, storms, and other human beings. Dozens, hundreds, even thousands of times. Life is shared not in memory alone, but in breath. You inhale the same air mammoths once exhaled across frozen plains. You inhale molecules that once moved through coral reefs, ginkgo leaves, and early human ancestors huddled beneath night skies. You are safe here. And as this understanding deepens, your awareness loosens like soil softening after rain, like petals closing under moonlight, like slow currents drifting along the ocean floor. You begin to feel yourself not separate, but part of the same long breathing that Earth has carried for billions of years. Life moves gently through you, and you move gently through it, carried by rhythms that need nothing from you, except softness, except rest, except the quiet acceptance that you belong to this world more deeply than thought can reach. You are safe here. You can drift. The night folds even deeper now, as if the earth were dimming the edges of the world one layer at a time to help you settle into a softer place inside yourself. The lines between body and planet, between breath and air, between thought and drifting, grow pale, almost transparent. You are safe here. You start to feel the gentleness of your own biology, how every part of you has been shaped by the slow patience of life, how every quiet system inside you comes from a lineage that survived warmth, cold storms, and silence long before you were born. Your lungs move with a rhythm older than language. Your heart beats with patterns inherited from mammals resting beneath ancient trees. Your body temperature drifts with the same natural cycles that guide forests and oceans. A microfact arrives softly. The average human heart beats about 2.5 billion times in a lifetime. Each beat, a tiny echo of the first animal hearts that pulsed in shallow seas over 500 million years ago. The universe holds you. You sink deeper into this stillness, and your breath becomes warm in your chest, a slow tide moving through the doorway between your inner world and the outer world holding you. Nothing presses you, nothing rushes you, nothing asks anything of you. You are safe here. Now it becomes clear that your body is less an object and more a landscape, a quiet terrain shaped by time, by memory, by elements older than continents. The calcium in your bones once settled in shells on the ocean floor. The carbon in your cells once drifted through ancient forests, filling the air before there were voices to breathe it. The oxygen you inhale was lifted into the sky by tiny organisms in warm water, long before the first tree reached upward. Life does not simply surround you, it fills you, it builds you, it whispers in every cell that you belong. You are safe here. Thoughts move more slowly now, thinner, lighter, as if they were leaves carried by a soft stream. And beneath these thoughts, a deeper, quiet rises, like the soundless glow of starlight touching a calm lake. Your body responds to this. Quiet, your muscles easing, your jaw softening, your heartbeat lowering itself in tiny increments, barely noticeable but deeply felt. A microfact drifts into place. When you rest, your parasympathetic system slows the heart, warms the hands, and encourages the body to heal, a response shared by all mammals for more than 200 million years. Rest is not an interruption, but a return to the oldest rhythm in life, The universe holds you. Your awareness thins even more, like mist dissolving in moonlit air. The cycles you heard earlier, ocean currents, seasonal changes, the slow drift of continents, all begin to echo inside your breathing, as if your body were becoming a smaller version of the planet itself. You feel your spine as a quiet ridge, your breath as a soft tide, your heartbeat as a small rhythm guiding you inward toward a place without weight, without effort. You are safe here. Somewhere far inside, your cells continue their ancient work, repairing, renewing, balancing in perfect silence. You do nothing yet. Everything inside you moves with purpose, with precision, with an intelligence inherited from billions of years of life, learning how to endure. A microfact floats gently. Each human cell performs around 1 billion chemical reactions per second, a quiet storm of activity carried out in silence to keep you alive, held and whole. The universe holds you. You drift deeper into this realization that your inner world and the earth itself are not separate stories but overlapping chapters written in the same language of breath, light, warmth, and time. Your breath slows again. Your body feels heavier, yet somehow lighter, as if gravity were loosening its grip, allowing you to float not upward, but inward toward a soft horizon that feels safe and familiar. You are safe here, and as Part 9 reaches its quietest point, you feel the long memory of Earth resting inside your breath, answering your stillness with stillness of its own, guiding you gently toward the next calm descent. Waiting in the dark ahead, you drift without effort, without thought, as if the universe were breathing you into a deeper form of rest. You are safe here. The world fades into something softer now. A dim warmth, a low tide of quiet moving across your thoughts. Everything becomes slower, looser, as if the night were holding you gently from beneath and within. You are safe here. The earth feels closer in this darkness, not as a planet but as a presence, a slow and living warmth mirrored inside your body. Your breath settles into its rhythm, your limbs grow heavier, and the air around you thickens like a quiet blanket woven from time itself. You are not falling asleep, you are returning to the oldest form of rest known by every creature that has ever lived. The universe holds you. Inside you, something shifts barely noticeable, a soft unwinding of tension, a release that feels both ancient and familiar. Your bones relax, as if remembering the calm pressure of ancient seas, the cradle where life first learned to float billions of years ago. A microfact touches the quiet. Human bones contain over 60 different minerals, most of them inherited from the chemical makeup of Earth's earliest oceans. You carry pieces of the planet not metaphorically, but literally woven into every structure that keeps you upright, warm, and whole. You are safe here. Your muscles soften next, like sand settling in still water, letting go grain by grain, twitch by twitch, until they match the slow rhythm that Earth has always kept. The warmth spreading through you is not just comfort, it is biological memory, a return to the state where life repairs itself in silence. The universe holds you. Your thoughts drift differently now, not as sharp lines, but as wide, slow shapes, floating in gentle, darkened space. This is the mind preparing to dissolve into the natural quiet that sleep gives, the same quiet that mammals seek in caves, that birds find in their nests, that trees enter each night when they rest their leaves and slow their breathing. You are following a rhythm older than your species, older than the continents, older than the moonlit oceans that first watched life rise. You are safe here. Your breath deepens. Not because you try, but because your body remembers how to sink into rest, the way seeds sink into soil, the way tides sink back into the sea, the way night sinks into the world. with no effort at all. A microfact glides inward. During deep rest, your body shifts into a state that lowers energy use by nearly 10%, mirroring the efficiency of animals that slow themselves at night to conserve warmth, safety, and presence. You are part of that same lineage, moving into that same softness, that same gentle dimming. The universe holds you. Now, the boundary between your breath and the earth's breath grows thin. Your inhale feels like a small tide coming quietly ashore. Your exhale feels like a retreating wave, slipping back into deeper darkness. A cycle, simple, endless, peaceful. Your body weighs a little more now, a comfortable heaviness, like cool soil settling after rain, like a rock, warmed by dusk, like petals folding in on themselves when night finally arrives. You are safe here. Inside your chest, your heartbeat moves in slow motion, steady, warm, soft echoing patterns, shaped over millions of years. Patterns tuned to darkness, quiet, and gentleness. It does not hurry. It does not strain. It simply follows the calm that your body is sinking into. The universe holds you. Thought continues to dissolve the edges of memory and imagination, slipping into one another until they feel like small drifting clouds passing through a warm night sky. You sense your awareness dimming like a lantern, flickering low, not extinguishing, but settling into its natural resting glow. You are safe here. Everything narrows to breath, warmth, weight, and the surrounding darkness, which no longer feels empty, but full supportive. A gentle gravity that carries you inward towards stillness. This is the descent, the slow slide into the quiet center of the night where the earth rests with you, where the long story of life lays down its head and breathes beside you in perfect peace. You drift further and further into the softest part of the earth's memory. You are safe here. Everything softens now, as if the night itself were lowering its hands, cupping you gently, inviting you to drift just a little deeper into the quiet waiting beneath your breath. Your thoughts loosen like threads slipping free from an old fabric, each one lighter, softer, drifting away before you can hold it. This is the natural way of the night, the way the mind prepares itself for the long, healing silence that follows waking. The universe holds you. Your breath moves slowly like a small wave touching a moonlit shore, then slipping away, leaving a glow, a warm fading, a sense of being carried without needing to move at all. Your chest rises with almost no effort, your ribs widening as if welcoming the gentle weight of the earth and then settling again into stillness. You are safe here. You may notice that your arms feel heavier, your hands warmer, your legs sinking deeper into the quiet shape of the bed. This heaviness is calm, the same calm felt by animals burrowing into soft soil, the same calm felt by leaves resting in still air, the same calm felt by water settling at the bottom of a quiet pool. A microfact drifts through the dark. During deep rest, your brain waves slow into long, gentle patterns called delta rhythms, the same slow echoes found in infants and in many mammals as they sleep, a universal language of peace. You are safe here. The world around you fades into something barely touching your senses, as if the earth were dimming every sound, every distant movement, every edge of light, so that nothing remains but the warmth inside your body and the soft weight, stillness. Even your heartbeat begins to feel less like a sound and more like a presence, steady, low, trustworthy, a small reminder that you are held by something ancient and gentle. The universe holds you. Your body now feels as if it were blending with the space beneath it. No longer separate, no longer tense, just part of the same quiet gravity, the same slow lullaby the planet has offered to every resting creature for billions of years. Your mind drifts farther into the soft in-between, where thoughts dissolve before they fully form, where images pass like warm shadows slipping across still water, where memory and dream start to overlap. You are safe here. The warmth in your chest spreads outward into your shoulders, your arms, your stomach, your spine, each place relaxing as if it remembers how to return to its natural softness. This soft returning is not just rest, but the echo of something the body has always known, the same biological exhale life has trusted since its earliest moments in warm, ancient seas. The universe holds you. You feel yourself drifting inward, your awareness narrowing to breath, to warmth, to the faint rhythm of your heartbeat, to the soft glow that seems to rise from within, as if your body were lit by a calm that requires no light, a calm shaped only by time and the earth's deep patience. Every part of you slows, settles, becomes quieter than you knew it could. You are safe here. The night presses gently around you, not heavy, but protective like soft earth sheltering a seed, like warm water holding a floating leaf, like dusk holding the last bird returning to its nest. You sense your consciousness beginning to lean into the direction of sleep, not falling, just tilting softly, quietly, as if guided by the same gravity that moves tides and steady winds and the slow turning of the planet itself. The universe holds you. Your breath drifts lower, touching a slower rhythm, a deeper rhythm, a rhythm that feels closer to the earth's own breathing, steady, ancient, a pulse beneath stillness, carrying you into a softer place with every exhale. You are safe here. And as the last edges of wakefulness begin to blur, you feel the world around you fading until there is only warmth, only darkness, only breath. Only the gentle memory of the planet resting beneath you and within you, as if the earth were whispering that it is time to let go, time to drift, time to rest. You are safe here. The universe holds you.